welcome to the EMSNation podcast. I'm your host, Faizan Arshad. This is a very special and exciting episode. We are here in Killarney, Ireland at the EMS Gathering 2016 with an incredible group of friends and colleagues. So without further ado, we're going to run around the room and introduce these incredible foam characters.
I'm Bex. My Twitter handle is Medibrat, and I'm with the EMS Wolfpack.
Ashley Liebig. My Twitter handle is originally Ashley Liebig, and I am with Smack Force, and the EMS Wolfpack.
I am James Short. My Twitter handle is ShortyMed. I am with the wonderful EMS Wolfpack. I'm also with the Smack Junior team this year, coming up for Smacked Up, and the Mentor Medics project.
Cool. I'm Stephen O'Flaherty. Twitter is @SteveFla. I'm involved with the organising committee for EMS Gathering and EMSPocus.com as well. I'm involved with them.
I'm Hayden Drake @Paramedic Kiwi. I'm the token Kiwi here and with EMS Wolfpack.
I'm Grania Ryan. My Twitter handle is Rescue Girly. I'm also involved with OBI CPC nights, and that's why I'm here.
I'm Jonathan Blattman. Twitter handle is JohnEMTP, JONEMTP. Also blog at johnemtp.com. And I'm involved with a little bit with EMS Pocus and with the EMS Wolfpack.
I'm Brandon Meesmer @BMeesmer. I'm creative just like Ashley. I am here with EMS Wolfpack, EMS Pocus, and East Coast Helicopter Operations.
Last but not least,
I'm Jason Boitnott. Twitter handle is @MadMedic809.
and the second last and not least,
Brady Pace, Twitter handle Parabroad, here with EMS Wolfpack.
My name is Owen, but some of you would not understand how you see it on Twitter. So it comes up as EOGHAN. So we're just a bit weird with how we spell it.
and on that note, in case you did not catch that, we will link everyone's Twitter handle on the show notes. It's an esteemed cast of characters. And with that, let's transition to Stephen, who is going to tell us why we are here in Killarney Island having an amazing adventure with the EMS Gathering. What is the EMS Gathering, and what is the past history? And tell us a little bit more about the event.
Yeah, so I suppose in 2013, the Irish Tourism Board created this national event called the Gathering. And on the back of that, we decided to invite EMS professionals from all over the world to come to Killarney and to basically learn with us. And we'd all been to many conferences before, and we thought, let's do something different, and let's use Killarney, what Killarney's best features. So the mountains, the lakes, and the amazing scenery, the amazing hotel we have available here. And we came up with this, Kieran Henry came up with this concept of learning with leisure. And that's pretty much been our cornerstone for the last 3 events. This is our 3rd event. And every year we've been trying to tweak it to try and improve it. So the talks, this year around, the talks and the way the couches were laid out, and I suppose the sort of Top Gear set really was kind of our new thing this year. And as far as I know, the feedback's been exceptional. So
Absolutely.
happy with it.
This type of conference is certainly unique in the sense that every day as first responders, lights and sirens, diesel fuel, pedal to the metal, and EMS Gathering is certainly not devoid of content. There's so much content and educational experience, but nevertheless it's framed in nature, which is certainly unique.
Exactly, and I suppose the conference is pretty much made by EMS professionals for EMS professionals. So, we're all used to going to medical conferences before, and there was a lot of information being put across at everybody, but sometimes it was quite a lot to take it all in. So by breaking down the concept and having different learning methods and hands-on practical applications, I think a lot of learning takes place, and in a much more friendly environment everyone gets stuck in. I suppose another big thing that we kind of champion is that it's not a paramedic conference, it's not a doctor conference, not a nurse conference, it's a EMS professionals, so anywhere from your first responders who know CPR and AEDs right up to your consultant emergency medicine doctors, and everything in between. and that's their ethos, is everybody can be involved in the EMS journey. So.
That's a great point, Steve. I think breaking down barriers is something that everyone in this room is apt to do. Certainly we're all part of the foam experience, and hierarchy is something that we continue to battle with on a daily basis, and we're focused on delivering the highest quality educational content regardless of what the letters after your last name may be. So with that, let's transition to Bex, who's going to tell us all about the foam boat experience at Killarney National Park.
So today, one of the leisure activities, led by the lovely Ashley, who's apparently exhausted her bandwidth for this afternoon so far. It was a boat trip out to Ross Castle and the ruins out on the island in the lake. And after a lovely, it was absolutely beautiful. The weather cooperated at least for the trip out there. Unfortunately, the midges did not, and they chased us off the island very, very quickly. What followed, once we got out of the rain, was a really, really great discussion about ways to use foam for breaking down barriers, for linking the international communities, for learning, point-to-point learning, how we can use things like Twitter for immediate. You have a question about something that's going on right now, you can message some of the greatest minds in the world in these circumstances, and often have an answer for you within minutes. And it offers us, as in the Wolf Pack, it offers us a group of support, like-minded individuals. We're all interested in learning. Ashley, I think it was this morning, talked about self-motivation theory, about making ourselves better. And I think that's part of the cornerstone of foam ed, is that we not only want to make ourselves better, we want to make it really, really easy for everybody else to make themselves better. We're not force-feeding anybody anything. Somebody mentioned today, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So you can present them with the resources and just say, hey, this is what's out here. But foam ed should be accessible to everyone, and that's the basis behind it.
Well said. Grania, you're leading an incredibly unique venture in Ireland that is designed to get incredibly high content to all providers at no cost. And that's through the OBI CPC Nights project. We'd love to hear a little bit more about the history and how you guys operate using live streaming from YouTube to get free high quality content to all providers at all levels and scopes of practice throughout Ireland.
Well, it was the idea for OBI CPC Nights came by Glenn Ellis. Glenn is an advanced paramedic in Dublin. OBI is the O'Brien Institute, Dublin Fire Brigades Training Centre. We've since moved from there into the RCSI because after 4 sessions, I came on board with Glenn and we decided to stream 2 sites around the country. We thought it would be a great idea if you didn't have to travel. It opened it up to more people. It was going to be free, so we had to try and get free institutions and centres, anywhere that would let volunteers, anybody from EMS, like the Gathering, from a CF4 to doctors, nurses, anybody that has an interest.
From first responders to physicians.
Yeah. So what we do is it's a 3-hour session. It's once every 2 months. You can follow us on Twitter at OBI CPC Nights. And what we do on the night is there's 3 talks, 3 speakers. They're usually very well known in their fields and highly regarded. And they do their speak. The questions come in over Twitter from the different centres around the country. And there's a Q&A for about 10 minutes after each talk. So they get CPD, so it's continuous professional development points.
Which in the US we would call CEs.
Yeah, yeah. And they're accredited by FEC, who are a governing body.
Pre-hospital.
PHECC, I might add.
Pre-hospital Emergency Care Council.
Yeah. So Glenn started off with 6 people initially. And the most we've had now on a night is 450.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
and how did you choose YouTube as your platform for live streaming?
We were looking at different software.
Started with Google and wasn't holding it well enough in the bandwidth.
Yeah, well, Periscope came first, and the problem with that was it would only hold it for 24 hours. So we wanted something that people could go back and look at any time. So then we tried Google Hangouts, and so we moved on to Google Hangouts, and we just weren't happy with how you had to invite people, you had to be on Google Plus, everybody had to have a Google Plus account. So we went to YouTube, and the guy who does the streaming for us, the recording, he'd already been posting live events on YouTube. So it just worked really, really well. Yeah.
It's an incredible model. We're so proud of your accomplishments, and there's nothing like it in the States. So as we move forward, looking for a means to provide CEs or CPDs, as y'all call it, for all your providers, that's an incredible model to learn from.
Yeah. The great thing about it is that people who have left the Irish system tune in from abroad as well. So it's open to everybody because it's on Twitter and because it's on YouTube. Like, you guys could hook in from the States.
Absolutely.
There's no reason, yeah.
And we'll link to that in the show notes so that if folks, EMS Nation is listening in and they want to check out this amazing content from Ireland, there's certainly no barriers to do that. Aside from, it's only a 5-hour
everybody is welcome
from the East Coast.
Yeah, but like, you can tune in after the event. So it will, like, all our stuff is up on YouTube anyway.
Which is the advantage of using YouTube as opposed to Periscope.
Yes. Yeah. So if you look for Glenn Ellis on YouTube and subscribe to his page, so it's GLEN and then ELLIS.
Amazing.
Okay.
Thanks, Rania.
You're welcome.
Next up at the EMS Gathering, we had a band of brothers, or I don't believe they're any sisters yet, but a band of brothers, paramedics from the States, who are at the forefront of the EMS Focus initiative. And as an ultrasound fellowship trained physician, I am so proud of these young men who are advancing pre-hospital ultrasound to the next level and making it accessible for resuscitationists all across the world, regardless of, again, the letters following their last name. So, gents, tell us about how did you start with this project and how it came to fruition at EMS Gathering.
First, we do have a sister. She just couldn't make it, so to prevent any beatings, she does exist.
Medivac Cindy.
Yes.
So sorry, Medivac Cindy. We love you.
She will be at SMAC.
So you're dead.
But actually, we all met at SMAC. We never met before, so it's been just under a year now since we even met, and we all just kind of saw some potential, started talking on Twitter a bit, decided to have a little Google chat, and it kind of just spiraled out of control from there.
Alright, so as far as the EMS Gathering, Steven actually helped us out with that because he's also one of our members.
Token Paddy.
Yes, we had to have at least one. He actually joined our group just purely through Twitter. This is actually the first time we've ever actually met him in person. But he started talking to us on Twitter, invited him in. He was just like us and knew pretty much zero about ultrasound. And because he's a part of the planning committee and we were starting to ramp up our training for ourselves with Jason Bowman, who's another one of our members, we started offering some minor introduction courses for other medics who were interested in ultrasound. So he thought it was a great idea and decided to invite us here.
And you held a point-of-care ultrasound workshop on both days, highly attended, in fact sold out. How was that experience? What was the feedback you received from EMTs and medics? And what does the future hold for y'all?
So far, we've heard very positive feedback, and actually, I'm not sure about today, but yesterday's session we had a couple of physicians as well, a GP and a emergency registrar. And
we had a couple. We had an ICU registrar today.
Okay.
Yeah.
An intern as well.
Yep.
Okay. And I know at least the GP is going back. She works in rural Ireland, and and she was very impressed with the capabilities, and she already said she's going to go back to her facilities and trainers and see about incorporating that into their own training for those rural facilities. So really positive things so far. I think people just aren't aware of what it can do, and in a short couple of hours their eyes are really open to the potential.
So while this remains a controversial topic and we continue to build the literature base for the use of pre-hospital ultrasound, we're very positive and optimistic on the future and what it holds. And I think I can officially announce that we have a scholarship for the EMS Focus Group to attend the Yale Point of Care Ultrasound course in Newport, Rhode Island, coming up in September from the generosity of my mentor, Chris Moore. So we're very excited to host you guys and to ensure that your skills as you transmit them to the pre-hospital care population are at the highest level possible. So we're very excited about that, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys more in Newport, Rhode Island.
Excellent, thank you.
So what you mentioned was very interesting, is that you're using social media to connect with people all around the world that you may have never met before. Another training session that I attended was the Farmageddon. Farm emergency. Yeah, absolutely. Farmageddon. So growing up in New York City and operating in New York City as well, we do not have very many farm emergencies, but nevertheless, they represent amazing training opportunities. And I was lucky enough to meet finally Dr. Mark Forrest of ATAC, Anesthesia, Trauma, and Critical Care, and David Menzies, also a pre-hospital response and rescue physician here in Ireland. And the quality of content, in situ simulation, and cases that they presented was so high. The cross-training from CFR to EMT to paramedic to physician level, and the team-centered approach to dealing with critically ill, traumatic situations on a farm was a remarkable learning opportunity. Did any of you all attend the Farmageddon?
I wish.
Yeah, me too. I wish.
I did.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
It was really incredible. They did such an amazing job, and I think part of the piece that's impressive about Sim is that they went all out. So the actors they have real actors and that are really doing an amazing job. The moulage is top notch. So
Amazing.
Those pieces, you're immersed in this environment, in this scenario, and those pieces really made it valuable.
Yeah, we're very lucky with the gathering to have such support from Mark and Jason Vanderbilt, who's actually on our committee, our ordinance committee, who would be assistant medical director for the attack course. So he was able to bring all that wealth of experience and the pure resources that they have over to...
Yeah, he actually scared me a little bit. After we finished our scenario, he said, "You've been attacked!" And I didn't realize you could make attack a verb.
Yeah, Jason can do anything.
That's true.
With that beard, he certainly can.
Shorty.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It was this was one of the key events that really cemented the fact that I was coming to EMS Gathering, was the opportunity to do this sim day. Much like you, Faizan, I work in an inner city area. I grew up in the country. I grew up in an area where farming accidents are unfortunately all too common. And to see the level of simulation we spoke about, the fact that there was real actors, there was real blood, and if you didn't get things right, things were going to go spiralling out of control very rapidly, and you'd have to fix it very quickly. And too often with sim, especially I seem to find, is people tend to treat it as a bit of a joke. And they're like, yeah, I'll do this, I'll do this. Oh, this has worked fantastic. With that, it was so realistic that rapidly, within a couple of minutes, I found myself going, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. And you faced all the real challenges you face on a day-to-day basis, but still had that comforting opportunity to stop, step back, go, what do you think? Right, we need to do this, 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 and this. What about this? And what about that? And it showed that everybody, no matter who they are, has got something to learn. Combined with the fact that we've obviously teamed up quite heavily with the farming community in a bid to reduce accidents and show that this is a rural island itself is a rural country with a rural spread of people, which still has a high risk of being seriously injured. And we spoke about obviously the fact that Ireland itself now has a partial sort of HEMS equivalent, and the need for critical care to be available in these rural areas is something that often gets forgotten.
It's certainly something that's pertinent given the legends who have practiced and advocated for HEM services in Ireland.
Definitely. And I hope that by seeing this event and seeing this knowledge, when future discussions are held, then we can look back and go, well, we went out and did this, and we can see these challenges and hopefully build on them and eradicate them. Because the same challenges we face here in Ireland, we face in rural Canada, in the rural US, in rural Australia. All these issues are still the same no matter where you are.
And I think it certainly speaks to the gravitas of Killarney and the organizing committee that they had the Minister of Health and responsible for farming accidents also present at the event. In addition, there were somewhere near the order of at least 40 to 50 farmers from Ireland that were participating in the event. Yeah. So, yes, there's a lot of education on prevention, but they have no experience of actually how to manage a situation once it occurs. So that was an incredible level of coordination, which I've not seen anywhere else.
Yeah, and there was a huge interest from the Irish Farming Association and Teagasc, which would be another governing body, to get involved once they heard what we were doing and bringing in farmers and everything. And it was really it was oversubscribed. If we could, we would have taken another 40 if we could, So it was really from that and it was the farm was a new event for us as well this year, and it really was our showpiece. So. I'm glad that it kind of went down so well, and the feedback is amazing from it.
We'll go very quickly. Irish EMS Chats was developed by James Ward. It came around a Twitter conversation that basically, as Ashley said earlier about foamed, that we were looking at asking a question out and getting an answer back. So we decided to then strategically arrange every Monday night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we'd set a topic out. There was a team set up. James Ward is the man who set it up originally. Irish Paramedic is his Twitter handle if you look him up. And Steve, myself, and Alan Bass, Grania are involved, and we'd be moderators of a sort behind. But we'd have a focus of what we're going to speak on every week. I think in England they've gone to Med Chats on a Thursday as well, very similar. But it gives us a forum that we can look at either topics of interest at the time, or if there's something else that people bring up as an idea.
Amazing, thanks. Last but not least, we have the original and unique Ashley Liebig talking about SMAC and SMAC Force. A lot of us are here in Ireland, very lucky to participate in the EMS Gathering, as well as SMAC Dub, which is just around the corner. Ashley, tell us about all the pre-hospital goodness we can expect from SMAC Force.
This year, SMAC Force is going to be absolutely epic, and that is a result of the Irish gents here that have Dave Menzies and Jason Vandervelde and Kiernan and everyone who has the attack guys have really committed themselves to incredible simulation, to scenarios that are amazing, to a stage choreography of speakers. We have 34 segments throughout the day. So 8-minute talks, 2-minute blast talks. It will be a non-stop day of just pandemonium, but it's going to be absolutely incredible.
A lot of tweets, I imagine, for those folks who are not able to attend in person.
Yes, so the hashtag is #SmackForce, or excuse me, the Twitter handle is SmackForce, and then we'd ask that people, when they have questions, they hashtag SmackForce and then the name of the speaker that they'd like to direct the question to. There'll be we have a couple of people moderating Twitter for the day for questions outside.
Amazing. So certainly a lot of incredible content that will be obviously live streaming. It'll be hard to ignore as SMAC takes over the Twitterverse coming up next week.
We trended #1 on Twitter last year, and I'm sort of anticipating that we make the #1 on Twitter for SMAC Force. We'll see.
Ashley, where's SMAC going to be next year?
Top secret.
Killarney. Taking all bets.
Thought I would be able to sneak it out of her in podcast.
I'm tired, but I'm not that tired.
But nevertheless, EMS Nation, thank you so much for joining us on this wrap-up of EMS Gathering 2016. This has been an incredible conference, and we will link in the show notes to the website for EMS Gathering. We highly encourage all of you to consider coming out to Ireland next year for EMS Gathering 2017. These guys really, really are doing an incredible job, and I suspect that it will continue to grow in an incredible fashion.
It may not be next year. It may be
2018.
but to be confirmed. Watch this space.
We'll certainly check that out. And then just to part off, we wanted to encourage you all to check out the EMS Wolfpack. That's at EMS Wolfpack on Twitter. The blog is shortly to come. Also check out at EMS Focus, and that is emsfocus.com. We'll be having a pub night with Focus Point of Care Ultrasound Games Monday night at 7 p.m. Are we going to be live streaming that?
If you want.
Sure.
Let's do it. So if you're catching in,
You heard it here first.
absolutely. We'll have some live stream components and have some focus games as well, leading into Smack and Smack Force. And last but not least, certainly check us out at EMS_Nation, EMSNation.org to come shortly as well. This is Faizan Arshad wishing everyone a safe tour.